When the pandemic ends, I'm going to every single live music concert within a 100-mile radius. I miss live music.
All right, welcome back, y'all. I hope you're all doing okay on this Wednesday or whatever day it is, wherever you are. A while back, I posted my top 10 Frank Zappa albums, the ones released while he was alive. I'm going to go through them and discuss each one a little more at length. And this is number 6, Hot Rats. As I explained in my original video, this one almost did not make the list. And not because it's not deserving of making the list, but it was one of those that I moved on from, for lack of a better word. I think if you were to survey all people who own only one Frank Zappa album, this is probably the one album that they own. Either this, Shake Your Booty, a lot of people I know have only wanted to Shake Your Booty, or Joe's Garage. Those are usually, like, if you're a one and done Zappa fan, it's usually one of those 3 albums. And Hot Rats, sure enough, was one of the first albums I got from Zappa. I listened to it over and over and over and over and over, so much so that it was just like one of those that I didn't feel that offered me anything new anymore. So as the years went by and I discovered different eras of Zappa and, started to dive into, the dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of releases that he has, this one kind of got left behind. And when I went to make this list, I didn't go revisit it at first. And so I had a list of 10 ready to go. And then I realized I hadn't re-listened to this or a couple others. So I wanted to make sure, I wasn't making any mistakes. And I went back and I listened to this and I was like, I am a stupid idiot because this deserves to be on that list. Sirens. And yeah, this is an amazing album. It is worthy of every top 10 accolade. It is worthy of being in every single person's record collection. It is 6 songs. And though it is mostly instrumental, I do think it actually captures everything Frank would ever do in his career, pretty much for the most part. You start off with an instrumental, Peaches in Regalia, which is my all-time favorite Frank Zappa song. Giving that away right now if I ever do that top 10 song list. It is number 1. This version is probably the tamest of all the versions, makes sense. Subsequent bands would do weirder and weirder things with it. The 70 band did this. The 76 band, I think it was the 76 band, had a really weird version of this. The Tommy Mars bands did this all throughout 78, 79. There's a version of this on Tinseltown Rebellion that is amazing. The 88 band did it. So Peaches has kind of lasted throughout his whole career. The only song on this album that really saw a live shelf life. It is an instrumental. It is a composition. It is like one of his what I call classical pieces, and that there's like all these composed parts, and that as the parts go on, it's kind of the same melody, just twisted and turned upside down and inside out, and it's like this Escher puzzle. A lot of Frank's instrumental pieces are like these weird Escher type puzzles. So that opens the track. Second track is Willie the Pimp, which features Captain Beefheart famously doing the vocals, the only vocal song on here. It has some vocals about a pimp, and then it's got a really, 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 really long Frank Zappa guitar solo. I think it's like 6 or 7 minutes long. And it's got a dirty sound. This is Frank like laying down the gauntlet back in 16 line, like, I am a guitar player that needs to be reckoned with. So this is a really, really long guitar solo, and it is him just going and going and going and going and going. And it is amazing. The third track is Son of Mr. Green Jeans. It's the Mr. Green Jeans melody from Uncle Meat turn into this like long, elaborate, over-the-top instrumental that Frank kind of just solos amidst in between all the different like pre-written segments. So it feels like a jam, but there's a lot of composed parts in the jam. And that's side 1, and it's perfect. Can we say that? Can we say it's just perfect? Because I think it is. Side 2, it's a little more difficult of a listen. The first and the last song are also instrumental, sort of those classical compositions, similar to Peaches and Regalia. They're nowhere near as catchy or as hummable or as foot tapping, but they're both worth repeated listens. I think both of these take a little bit longer to like get what they're about, but they're also fantastic pieces. Stranger Than Peaches and two of the stranger shorter instrumentals that he's ever written, but they're also just amazing pieces. And then between those is a epic blues jam, the Gumbo Variations, solos, violin solo, horn solo, the saxophone solo by Ian Underwood on here is just, yeah, bow down. I got no words for it. It's just an absolutely amazing. I think it's 18 minutes long is this track, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe shorter than that. That seems too long. I should have looked it up before I did this. But anyways, it's a long track, but it's not boring in any way. In fact, when the solos end, you're like, the solo had to end. That's too bad. But anyways, yeah, it's just an amazing, mostly instrumental. And like I said before, I think everything Frank does is captured on this album. You have his instrumental pieces, which he would do throughout his entire career. Alien Orifice, Sinister Footwear, Sofa, Strictly Genteel. Almost every album has some sort of instrumental composed piece. You've got lyrics that are not the most, you're not going to study these lyrics in your high school English class, Willie the Pimp. You have jams in the Gumbo Variations, in which other members of his band get a chance to show off their stuff. And you have long guitar solos, which is Willie the Pimp. And then you have these pieces which are a little bit of everything, like Son of Mr. Green Jeans. So really, you have like everything Frank would ever do in its various forms in this album. It is my number 6. If you like this album and you want more of this kind of stuff, you want more like instrumentals, jams, improv. Last year, 2019, Frank, the ZFT, the Zappa Family Trust, released the Hot Rats sessions, which I think, I'm not even sure Hot Rats is actually on here. I think there is a remixed version, or maybe the original pressing of the album is on here. But then you take that apart, take that out, there's 6.5 hours, 6.5 hours of material from these sessions. There are songs as they're literally being written live. You can tell like they start a groove and then Frank goes, no, do this instead. No, do this instead. And you get that in real time. So you see how this develops into what it is. You have alternate takes of some of the longer jams, which realize that what you have in Willie the Pimp and what you have in the Gumbo Variations are literally just one version of many different versions they ran through. You have alternate tracks that did not make Hot Rats or have never been released before, songs, live performances. You have 6.5 hours of unreleased material on here, apart from the Hot Rats album. It is something you can dive deep into. So anyways, Hot Rats, get it. It is a great starter album. It is a great middle of the road album. It is a great ender album. It is a great Frank Zappa album. So get it and enjoy.